Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin. These aren't really watch reviews. They're more wristwatch checks with a strap pairing. Just to show it, I would also consider these basically extended reviews if I've even had a review of a watch first, which I haven't done in a long time, but they might be considered an extension of a review, or simply, probably more correctly, ongoing supplemental information, ongoing user experience, that type of deal with a particular watch. I'm just throwing some thoughts about something as I'm doing these videos. Today I am back. Oh, actually, is it today? Yeah, I guess today I started going back on to the Laurier Merlin. This is a Urban Gentry collab or limited edition watch with the brand, and this we call a Weems-style pilot watch. It's a very early World War II design for the British RAF in particular. But if I'm not mistaken, I think at least some groups of the United States, Army, Air Force, I think that's what they used to call it back then, had a similar kind of watch design with a rotating bezel, second crown, which is what they would call a second setting crown, because they didn't have hacking seconds at that time until later, and then they got rid of this bezel and they had hacking seconds. But to circumvent the hacking seconds or a hack for the hacking seconds or lack of it, this is what you had: a rotating bezel where you can basically reset the start of the minute to anywhere on the dial, right? If the start of the minute's maybe right there, like by the 45 second mark, then you just rotate the arrow to the top of that, and that will be the beginning of your minute. And that way anybody who had these watches could set them accordingly, however, wherever their hands are landing as the top of the minute. It would work. Everyone would be synchronized. You'd set your watch accordingly. Of course, everyone would be on the same minute and so forth. But there's more about this. I've talked about it before, and there are probably things online and maybe some other things on the web. But if you want to find more about how those original Weems-style pilot watches with the second setting bezel worked, check it out. It's very interesting and it's pretty cool. It actually makes the bezel very useful and functional. You would think it'd be like a timing bezel, but it really wasn't used for that. Although you probably could, but then I would say if you wanted to make sure you were synced, you'd probably have to remember where it was last set and return it back to that position after you're done perhaps using it as a timer. But as far as I know, I don't think it actually was used as a timer, as more as just to synchronize the watch, so you had the top of the minute. And then the crown, of course, would lock the bidirectional bezel, the second crown there. And at least on this watch, there is a screw down crown as well, 100 meters of water resist, which is great. And when you pop it out, there's no ghost date position. It is rocking a Miyota 90 S5, if I'm not mistaken, dateless version of the 9000 series of movements, and which I personally like. Some people don't like it because they can hear or feel the rotor. Sometimes you can, but I've gotten so used to that, and I have plenty of Miyotas and even Valjoux chronograph movements. The 7750s and that series all have that kind of rotor wobble and sound and stuff because it's unidirectional winding. Not a big deal. I personally kind of like it. It makes me kind of know that it's something actually working inside. It's actually, the ongoings are actually doing something that's supposed to keep it operational. Anyways, so you just pop it out to this watch does have hacking seconds, so you pop it out to the first position and only position, really. Well, I guess technically the first position would be the hand winding position, and then you pull it out one more time after, until you screw it. It'll be in position for hand winding. Then you pull it out to the first, I guess, or second position, however you want to call it. You pull it out once, it'll stop, and then it'll hack, and then you set the time, and that's about it. I love the off-white dial with the blued handset, real thermal blued hands. Looks really good. I think it's overall this takes inspiration from, I think, a mix of the designs from that era to produce a style, and it's a true homage without being a direct copy of anything. which is great, and it looks the part, and it feels right, for that style watch. 37 millimeters, so it's definitely upsized from the original, which was the Weems basically topped out at 33 millimeters. They were actually 27 at one point earlier on, but they upped it to 33, and that was pretty much the main size for all the Weems style pilot watches, which were made by Omega, Longines, JLC, Movado, and Zenith. And a pretty good company of 5 watch brands amongst each other, at least at that time. Yeah, and so this watch wears really thin, nice, just enough curvature, and it got nice drill through lug holes, so you can change, make strap changes easily. And speaking of strap changes, I did take it off. It's very nice deer skin, I believe, leather strap. It's in brown. Very nice that comes with. It's also a pass-through single layer, and it's nice. It's thin and it's comfortable, and it works and looks the part. But I like trying things on a variety of straps just to change it up and see what I can do to just make it interesting and maybe a little different from time to time. And having 20 millimeter lug spacing offers up a lot of opportunities for probably the most popular strap size. So I got this on a Haveston. It's from their, I believe, their Canvas Corps series. This is single pass strap, and it's canvas, of course. And yeah, it's nice. It's got reinforced holes. It's plenty long enough. My 7-inch wrist, and the end reaches up here. And this keeper is movable. So if you have a larger wrist, obviously that will move down lower, and you actually have more room to make it even smaller. But I don't think you can get it much higher than this. I mean, you could, but it would be too high. It's going to stick out. I think I'm pretty much maxed out where it doesn't look too high. At least it sits close to the rest of the strap, so it's not sticking out or anything. So that's okay. Looks wise to me, and it holds well. I would not recommend folding it back over like you might do with a NATO style strap, when the ends are particularly long and maybe you don't have enough, the keepers aren't flexible enough to move up and down like this. Then you might have to fold it back and get to whatever its controllable length. But I'm just saying, if you have wrist size much smaller than 7-inch, it probably won't look that good unless you can do some way to fold it over, which I don't think it's pretty tight. And you might, start really, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to work too well, and I wouldn't recommend cutting it shorter because of the way it's stitched. So just an FYI. I have to say probably these extra holes are pretty useless at this point, but they're there just in case. But I guess for utility, if you just need to strap it onto wrist, yeah, get whatever size you need, and if it sticks up, it sticks up, or you find a way to get out of the way. This is in the the last time I showed this was I had another strap like this I showed in a previous video. Anyways, it was a forecastle gray, and it had like contrast blue stitching, which was pretty nice. It works with matching with the blue handset. I think it's not exact same shade of blue, but close enough, and just it ties in pretty nicely. But this is all one color. This is like I would say this is like a faded olive drab type of color. It's really cool. It's this model is the M-19 specifically speaking, 1944C, if I remember all that correctly. It'll be in the description. I will have confirmed it by this time I post this video. But yeah, it's a nice, really military green. Read up on the Haveston website as to why or how they came about the color and where's the inspiration from. I really like their military themed, straps. And this is one of them that works really well with this watch, I think. I had one before in a smaller size, a 16 millimeter width, which was for my Longines Weems Pilot Watch. It was a Japan limited edition watch from, if I remember correctly, from the mid-90s, like 1995, or was it early 2004? No, I'm pretty sure it was 1995, somewhere around there, more or less. I did a video on it, check it out. The L2.606.4 is the reference number. It's like basically practically a replica, and they label it replica on the back case back because it looks so much like the real ones from the World War II series, era of production rather. And and if I can, I bought both Forecastle, but it did not have the contrasting blue stitching. It was just all gray. And I also bought the same M-1944C strap, which is it's cool because it just looks the part for this World War II style plane. And if I can remember, I'll pull a picture of it from one of my previous posts with that strap on it, and I'll post it right to my right. That's why I'm kind of backing up to give a little space to show it, and you can compare how it looks like to this one. And they both look great on it, I think you might agree. It's just that khaki, just this colors. I really like it. It's very muted. It's kind of dusty and dirty, but it's not ashly, but it has that kind of look to it. It's not quite green, it's not quite gray, it's kind of brownish or even khaki or tannish if you think about it. And there are degrees of those khaki and tan tones that are something similar to this. It's just an amalgamation of sort of those colors depending on how you look at it, and I guess suppose in the lighting and everything. But I think this just looks pretty cool with this style watch. And glad I got it. This is again 20 millimeters, and they believe they probably make it in 22 if I'm not mistaken, or is it 18? I forget. check the Haveston website. They'll have all the breakdown of all the sizes available, but I would imagine 20 and 22 are probably the next two most popular sizes for mainstream wearers or watches and such. And just back it up. This watch has been running good. I think I've been averaging just under 4 seconds, more or less 4 seconds, plus 4 seconds, which is fine. It's plenty accurate enough for this kind of watch for me. And I think 37 millimeters on my 7-inch wrist wears quite perfectly. I did like the Weems Pilot Watch from Longines that I had before. It was small at 33, but if I haven't worn anything else for a while and I just let that sit on my wrist and just kind of, what's that word? Getting used to it, acclimate to it, to the visual proportions of that smallest dimensions. And I take the watch in the context from which it's designed from, which is from the would you say early mid-century, but from the 1930s, maybe early 1940s ish, that period, right? And they did have smaller watches back then. Of course, the Germans had very large Flieger watches, but it's a different design philosophy. It's interesting. They were these big, I believe, 55 millimeter, Flieger watches in A or B dials, and those are worn. But that makes sense. They wanted to see it good. It's very utilitarian. It's not for wearing after hours. I think it's just they wore those only when they went onto flight, went flying, and over their probably heavy like leather jackets and stuff. They have to be layered because it's cold. They don't have pressurized cabins in those fighters, so they just wore them on the outside. However, at least with the British, they didn't do that. They didn't have that design philosophy. They had them worn under the cuff or near the gloves at least. Maybe outside of the cuffs, but underneath the gloves. It could be hidden, but pulled open to reveal just to check the time and if they needed to. As you can see from Watch Dunkirk, right? The character that Tom Hardy plays, one of the RAF Spitfire pilots. He has a Weems Pilot Watch. It's from Omega. It's the CK 2129. I forget the exact reference of that old vintage one that he has on his wrist, which is one of my favorites. Actually, it looks so cool. But that is 33 millimeters. You wouldn't think about it. It was looking just the way they filmed it, but that's how big they were. But but he had it just underneath his jacket, or I think he kind of pulled up his gloves to reveal the watch, so you could see it. And I think I heard or read somewhere that maybe the officers or the the crew, wherever the pilots that wore these watches, it wasn't just left to be, at the office, at the airbase or at the plane or whatever. It wasn't just there to only as equipment when they were flying. They would probably keep it on wrist as they got off duty, and were in other fatigues or dress uniform or something, and could still wear the watch underneath the cuff. I think I heard that from ID Guy. I forgot what video it was, but I could have sworn he mentioned something about that being the case. They didn't just wear the watches just for work, for professional use in the plane. They had it as it's almost a fashion statement, something they could wear with a uniform, off, not necessarily off duty as much as at least not while flying a plane. Anyways, babbled and rambled enough, but that's what I do. Just like to talk about what I got on wrist, and sometimes I get carried away, and I just go off and just talk about whatever I can about it. Thanks for watching. I think I recommend these straps. They're not that expensive. They're 20. I want to say in the 27-ish range, more or less. I think they may have gone up in price over the last few years, but not by much. It's pretty much in that under sub $30 category. And you buy, I believe you can use, at least on the Haveston style. I'm not promoting them. I like their stuff. It's just that, and I'm not paid by them whatsoever. But I would just let you know if you're interested. They do often have a field set kind of a discount code. So if you buy two of any strap, you can get a discount and get a certain percentage off of it. So it'll make it cheaper, less expensive. They're not really that expensive. Versus if you buy it somewhere else. If you went somewhere local, like in the United States, I believe Hobin's, as far as I know, it's the only one that carries Haveston somewhat regularly in its inventory. So you can do that, but they do cost a smidget more than I think you would get directly from Haveston, and they don't have discount codes, at least not for a field set, as far as I'm aware of, like they do it with Haveston. So, but then you could technically get it a little bit quicker than Haveston because it's in States. Although Haveston these didn't take too long to get over here once I placed the order too. So it wasn't a crazy wait. I think a week at most. Yeah. So go either way. It's up to you. Yeah, you might want to take advantage of the field set discount if you're interested, because they got a lot of cool strap designs that can work on a variety of watches. I think primarily you're going to look at something to put on to a tool watch, or at least something with a very kind of somewhat military themed orientated theme to match that, because that's their a lot of their stuff is drawn from military gear and stuff from the past, and they do a really good job of it. Quality's good, and they're always improving and making new stuff. They do retire some older straps too, but I have quite a number of them, which I'll probably end up sharing on this particular watch. I think a lot of them work really well with this particular style watch, stuff from the World War II era. Anyways, I guess I'm going to sign off. So thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. I will continue to enjoy this Merlin, really cool, pilot watch. I think it's unlike some other ones that are out there. Fliegers are cool, but I do find them a little bit too generic, and I honestly, for the most part, you can't tell the difference between ones that are like sub $100 that you could probably get off AliExpress versus like an IWC. Yeah, some might call that blasphemous, but in general, the looks between them are so similar that it is very hard to discern, like, why is there such a discrepancy in price, other than one is a high-end luxury brand and all that's the baggage that goes with all the added costs. I don't have to explain it to you guys if you understand watches. There are premiums to be paid for certain things, whereas you don't feel like it. There's plenty of other alternatives, but you don't have to spend big money for original Flieger watch. Also, for one of the original, I think 5 brands or so that were making them as well. Look at Stova and Laco. They do some really good ones, and you know, they definitely were some of the two that were making them back in the day. And what else? Yeah, but like this one, it's just different enough, but it looks familiar as well. Anyways, later. Thanks. Bye.